Well, welcome back to another episode of Only Pans Uncut. Today we're going to be making a roast thingamabobber, and we're going to be using the Instapot. So if you don't have one, go grab one right now. And like I said, this is the uncut version, so it's going to be a little rough today. Why? Because I'll be honest, I'm exhausted and I'm also super lazy. Let's grab our stuff. Spices, spoon scale, knife, spoon, roast, a little bit of sauce. I'm using some sugar-free Caribbean jerk. Got some carrots that we're gonna throw into the roast, onions. Lastly, we got some mini little potatoes. So 4 to 5 potatoes is 16 carbohydrates. So it depends on how many meals you wanna do. So you can weigh out the stuff after it's cooked, or you can pre-plan that. So an example of pre-planning would be, okay, let's say I want to make 2 meals and my goal is 40 carbohydrates. Well, that means I'm going to need about 3 servings of these potatoes here. So I'm going to obviously put in, about, in this case, it'd be about 350 grams worth of potatoes, and that's going to give me about my 2 meals worth. The meat as well, I can weigh it out first. And let's say I got the total, and I would use my app. I'd go into the app, find out how much roast beef I've got and how many grams of protein that's going to make, and then I'd want to divide that by the meal plan that I'm following. Or if I'm not following one, I'm doing this on my own, that's how I do it. Weigh out the total meat. Let's say it says 700 grams worth, and that tells me it's 150 grams of protein, and let's say my goal is 35 grams of protein per serving. Well, I would go 150 divided by 35, that would tell me how many meals I'm gonna get out of this fancy roast beef here. Some things will weigh a little bit more, some things will be a little bit less, so you can weigh the ingredients raw, or you can weigh them after it's cooked. So, let's grab the last item, that's the Instapot. But before we go into that, I'm gonna prep the veggies and stuff, so let's get into it. Another great item is this little food processor. It is super handy when you're chopping up vegetables if you wanna make things a little bit smaller. In this case, I'm not actually going to do that, but I use the food processor for all my omelets or peppers that I'm chopping up. In this case, I'm going to put some bigger chunks in there because it's going to pressure cook for a while. So if it's super fine, they're going to get super soft, and I don't want that. So I'm going to put this away, but you get the picture. Lid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the pod out, and I'm going to get ready. There's something in there. I'm gonna put it right here so I can throw all my stuff in there as I go. Gonna pour a little bit of water in there. How much water? It's a great question. Enough to cover the potatoes and a little bit of the meat. So I'm gonna add about this much in there. That's probably about 1 inch to 2 inches. And we'll start with that. And I can always add more later. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the sauce in here as well. Another thing you can try to do is you could use beef stock. So you could use like a chicken stock, a beef stock, or something to flavor the water, like a broth, vegetable broth. That would work really, really well. Now let's move to the carrots. Actually, let's move to the onion, shall we? Now I could put some more onion in there if I want. At the end of the day, remember, it's okay to be creative. Up next, we got the potatoes. So I am gonna weigh these out a little bit here, just so I can kind of get an idea. And I want to make 3 meals with this for myself is what I'm doing. So I got 3 servings of my potatoes here. Now it's time to chop up the meat. Let's get to it. And I want to chop it up. I could throw the whole thing here, but I want it to have a little bit more chance to get a little bit more flavor. And like I said, I'm not a professional butcher or a meal prep expert or a professional chef. So if someone sees me doing this and they're like, oh, that's not done correctly, guess what? I don't care. So I'm gonna drop it in there, some nice big chunks. Now, what I did last time I made this is I actually marinated the meat a little bit longer overnight. So you can marinate the meat as well. All right, now that that's all chopped up, I've got it all in my pan there. Now I'm gonna add the carrots and then the spices. I'm gonna cut my carrots kind of big so that they don't get super soggy and soft. We're moving along here very quick. As you can see, this is a very fast way to do meal prep. Now I've got my spices. Yes, a big jug of pepper. Pepper actually can help you with protein synthesis. It also can help burn a little fat as it heats you up. So kind of like cayenne pepper. So I'm gonna put about 2 dashes of that, 1.5 kind of thing. And as you can see, this is the uncut version. I don't measure anything. I literally don't. We got some garlic salts here. What do I got in my kitchen that I can use? Got some random steak spice in there. Okay, now it looks good. Now I'm gonna get the Instapot ready. We're gonna put this inside here. Now when getting the Instapot ready, we're gonna use a couple settings. I'm gonna tilt this sideways just a little bit there. We're gonna hit the meat setting, and we're gonna do it for about 20 minutes on pressure cook. And that should be good enough, to be honest, but we'll come back in about 20, 25 minutes, and we'll see how good this turned out. All right, the moment of truth. Let's see. Unlock. Woo! Boiling. That looks good. Now this is all done. This is gonna be really hot, so I would recommend if you have gloves, which I do have those. Now we got this in here. So the potatoes are gonna be nice and soft. The carrots will be cooked through. The roast beef should be super delicious now. Now that I've got the tongs, let's dig in and see what we got going on. So I estimated already for my meal plan, I'd need 7 potatoes around. So if I was gonna serve this up for myself, I'd have 7. Now with the meat itself here, I could be weighing this right now, but I'm just gonna show you guys right now. But what I would normally do, I would put this bowl on the food scale, and then I would just drop the meat down and until I hit my 200 grams worth that I wanted for my meal plan for that time. 7 potatoes, and I got the meat there. Now I've done this quite a bit now, so I kind of know what my meat should look like. So now that I'm finished this, guys, this was a quick way to make a roast. And like I said, you can buy a big roast, weigh out the thing prior, and then do the math of how many meals you want this to make over the week or whatever it is. And then you just mass cook it all in here, pull out your potatoes, pull out your carrots. I would do some broccoli as well. I wouldn't put the broccoli in there because it would just be really mushy and stuff. But broccoli can cook very, very quick. So I just have to pull some of that out. Or you can go to Costco, get the bags of broccoli. You can just toss in the microwave. As you can see here, the kitchen stayed pretty clean. It was fast and efficient. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is my roast and potatoes.